Good day, sir. Today we, the Group 2, will present our performance task in General Mathematics, which is tackling our lesson in operating of functions. First, as a recap, what are functions? A function is a binary relation between two sets in mathematics that connects each element of the first set to exactly one element of the second. It is a collection of ordered pairs in which no two pairs have the same x-coordinate. A function is defined as an equation that produces such a set of ordered pairs. Functions with real output may be combined using addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, as we do with real numbers. Functions with overlapping domains can be added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided. If f and x and gx are two functions, then for all x in the domain of both functions, the sum, difference, product, and quotient are defined as follows. The sum of two functions. First, let's talk about the sum of two functions, or in other words, the addition of functions. The addition of a function involves the creation of a new function by combining two existing functions. For example, given two functions g and h, the sum of two functions g plus h is defined by the equation f plus hx equals fx plus gx. In finding the sum of two functions, the following steps will be applied. Number 1. Write the equation using the functions provided. 2. Substitute the given values of the functions in the equation. And 3. To get the final answer, simplify the values. Example: fx equals 3x plus 2 and hx equals x plus 1. How to solve? Just by simply combining both equations and simplifying them. F plus hx equals 4x plus 2. In case you are wondering why 4x instead of 3x, always remember that there will be always 1 beside x. For you to understand more about the topic, I'll provide you with another example. Here we have p plus ox. If px equals 5x plus 3 and ox negative 2x and negative 2. The first step is to combine both functions. P plus ox equals 5x plus 4, negative 2x and negative 2. P plus ox equals 3x plus 2. So that sums up the addition of functions. Next, we will discuss about the difference of functions. The difference between two functions. Subtraction of functions is the process of creating a new function by subtracting two existing ones. Given two functions, f and h, the difference of two functions, f negative h, is defined by the equation f negative h x equals fx negative gx. The steps below will be used to determine the difference between two functions. Number 1. Construct an equation based on the functions provided. 2. To solve the equation, substitute the given values for the functions. 3. Inside the parentheses, distribute the negative or minus sign to the quantities. And 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. For example, we will just use the equation that we use in the addition of functions. Step number 1. Construct an equation based on the functions provided. F negative hx equals fx negative hx. Step number 2. To solve the equation, substitute the given values for the functions. F negative hx equals 3x plus 2 and negative x plus 1. Step number 3. Inside the parentheses, distribute the negative sign to the quantities. F negative hx equals 3x plus 2, negative x, negative 1. Step number 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. F negative hx equals 2x negative 1. And that is how we arrive to the final answer. Another example. Step number 1. Construct an equation based on the functions provided. D negative gx equals dx negative gx. Step number 2. To solve the equation, substitute the given values for the functions. D negative gx equals 3x square root of 2 negative 5x plus 3 negative 4x plus 2. Step number 3. Inside the parentheses, distribute the negative sign to the quantities. D negative gx equals 3x to the square root of 2, negative 5x plus 3, negative 4x plus 2. Step number 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. D. Negative gx equals 3x to the square root of 2, negative 9x, negative 3. That is how to solve the difference of two functions. Now let's move forward to the product of two functions. Multiplication of two functions is the process of creating a new function by multiplying two existing functions. Given two functions f and h, the product of two functions f times h is defined by the equation f times hx equals fg times hx. In finding the product of two functions, the following steps will be applied. 1. Write the equations using the functions provided. 2. Substitute the given values of the functions to the equation. 3. Apply the laws of exponent to multiply the given functions horizontally or vertically. 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. For example, f times hx equals if fx equals 3x plus 2, hx equals x plus 1. For example like this, just like multiplying binomials, you can also use the FOIL method. Step number 1, write the equation using the functions provided. F times hx equals fx times hx. Step number 2, substitute the given values of the functions to the equation. F times hx equals 3x plus 2, x plus 1. Follow step number 3. Apply the laws of exponent to multiply the given function horizontally or vertically. FOIL method. F times hx equals 3x to the square root of 2 plus 3x plus 2x plus 2. Step number 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. F times hx equals 3x to the square root of 2 plus 5x plus 2. Next example, 5 times gx equals if px equals 2x, gx equals 2x negative 1. For example, like this, we will just simply distribute 2x by the value of g. Step number 1, write the equation using the function provided. P times gx equals 5x times gx. Step number 2, substitute the given values of the functions to the equation. P times gx equals 2x, 2x, negative 1. Step number 3, apply the law of exponent to multiply the given functions horizontally or vertically. P times gx equals 4x to the square root of 2, negative 3x. No need to simplify because the term is already in simplest form. Did you get how to solve the product of that equation? Let us solve a harder equation which has more than a coefficient in an expression. Example, p times qx equals if px equals 2x2, negative 3x plus 7, qx equals 3x plus 2. For this one, we will multiply one by one in order to get the function. Step number 1. Write the equation using the functions provided. P times qx equals px times qx. Step number 2. Substitute the given values of the functions to the equation. P times qx equals 2x to the square root of 2 plus 3x plus 7, 3x plus 2. Step number 3. Apply the laws of exponent to multiply the given function horizontally or vertically. P times qx equals 6x square root of 3 plus 4x square root of 2 plus 9x square root of 2 plus 6x plus 21x plus 14. Step number 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. P times qx equals 6x to the square root of 3 plus 13x square root of 2 plus 27x plus 14. Very easy, right? Now let us proceed to the last operation of function, which is the division of functions. The quotient of two functions. The division of a function involves the creation of a new function by dividing two existing functions. In finding the quotient of two functions, the following steps will be applied. 1. Write the equation using the functions provided. 2. To solve the equation, substitute the given values for the functions. 3. Use different types of factoring or divide the numerator by the denominator. 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. Our first example, f divided by gx equals, if fx equals x minus 1, gx equal x plus 4. For this example, you don't need to divide because it has no other divisible number other than 1. So you should copy the given, and that is now the answer. Step number 1. Write the equation using the functions provided. F divided by gx equals fx divided by gx. Step number 2. To solve the equation, substitute the given values for the function. F divided by gx equals x negative 1 divided by x plus 5. Step number 3. Use different types of factoring or divide the numerator by the denominator. F divided by gx equals x negative 1 divided by x plus 5. No need to simplify because that form is the simplest. Confused? I'll give you another example. G divided by fx equals, if gx equals 2x negative 2, fx equals x negative 1. For this example, the numerator can be divided by the denominator. So follow step number 1. Write the equation using the functions provided. G divided by fx equals gx divided by fx. Step number 2. To solve the equation, substitute the given values for the function. G divided by fx equals 2x negative 2 divided by x negative 1. Step number 3. Use different types of factoring or divide the numerator by the denominator. G divided by fx equals 2x negative 1 divided by x negative 1. Step number 4. To get the final answer, simplify the values. And that is how you solve the quotient of two functions. So that ends our discussion for today. I hope you understand a lot about the topic. God bless everyone and thank you.